Hello, Imaginators.
Welcome to Patty's Peculiarities. Today we are going to be creating these beautiful wands, and I will show you here a couple of samples. There's this wand that's quite thick, and mine is quite a bit longer. And then there is this wand that Isabella, my assistant and co-creator, made. So first we need some supplies, and I'm going to kind of go through what we did first, because you need to attach clay onto a stick. You can actually use, which is in this one, we used a chopstick, and then I used, to get the handle really thick, I used some tin foil. But now, after I ran out of chopsticks and I only had one left, I had to stop by our craft store, and I got these wooden dowels, and they're thinner and much longer, so I think they're going to make a more interesting wand. And you could still take and put some tin foil on the end if you want to get it really, really wide. That is totally cool. But there are a few processes here before we get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is get some sandpaper. I found it out in the garage.
We stole it from our dad's trunk, so
yeah, so poor Nate. Anyway, so I found this out in the garage, and I'm like, it's really gritty. I think it'll do really well. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna try and create some grooves on your wooden stick.
Yeah, it helps to get the clay so then it wedges inside of the little cracks and roughness.
Okay, so then you're just going to working this until you get it nice and
bumpy.
Bumpy, that's a good word.
And once you have, you can take some bake and bond. It's sort of like a clay glue that you have to bake to get it to stick. But what you're going to do is you're going to rub it all over the place, and after that, that's when you attach your clay.
And then we get something that looks like this. Okay? So what we've done is we've taken our wood stick once again, roughed it up with the sandpaper. Then we took the Sculpey Bake and Bond. I don't know if you can read it here. There it goes. And you put that on the stick. Then you take your black Sculpey clay. That's our sample there. We have squished it and made it nice and flexible.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Not sponsored. And then you're gonna wrap your stick, and then you end up with something that looks like this.
It's okay if it's all bumpy like this. That'll add to like the texture more and make it even look woody if you're looking for that one.
Yeah, and then like mine is thicker than hers, if you can see this. And I think that every time you make one, maybe they'll be a little different from each other, and that is totally okay. All right, so now that I've gotten it this far, I wanted to try and think up a design, like what kind of a design do I want to make? My last one, I took rolls of clay and kind of wrapped it, and see how it almost looks like laces there. And Isabella calls it my underwater diving wand. But anyway, so I kind of rolled these pieces out and then wrapped it. This one, I think I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to flatten some pieces of clay and then wrap my wider end, my handle, and then possibly going to use a jewel at the end. So I have a bin full of all kinds of interesting things here, and I'll dig through there and see what we got to put into our wand. Okay, so let's get this started. Let's get started. Yeah. And of
Cat
course,
is over here.
our cat is going to help us. His name is Night Night.
He's the sweetest little baby in the world.
Yes, he is.
Even though he likes to
get into trouble.
Get into trouble with our artwork.
Okay, so after a couple minutes here, Isabella has located a great shell to use, and now I have decided that I've added enough handle section. I've added enough now. I'm pretty pleased with it. So I ended up making a small snake and wrapping it around the bottom. Let's see here. So now I would like to add one of these jewels. I just use the jewel the way it comes, and I'm just going to go ahead and push it far enough into some clay that it'll hold, and then I'll wrap some clay around it. Okay, so I'll go in that way and we'll see how this looks. I'm going to add a little bit of this Sculpey, and then I'm going to push my jewel in there.
Okay, an update. So what I decided to do was sort of imprint the shell onto the piece of clay and then edit it with this tool here. But what I'm gonna do is, because I wanted to attach it on there and add like some more details to it, like and kind of decorate around the shell, and I don't want the pattern to be smushed, so I'm going to go bake it in the oven for a little bit attached to this, which is about the same size as at the end of it, so that it doesn't get smushed. You know, if you know how to bake this, you only want to bake it for not the entire time, because it could crack the second time around when you throw it in there. So it's just something to think about, and we'll be right back after that time is up. Okay, we got this cooked, and I will say that this is a bit weak. It could easily break, but we'll have to figure out what to do if it does break. But what you're gonna do with your dried piece, you gotta make sure it fits, and you gotta use some of the bacon bond, sorry.
Okay, so now we have finished adding details to our wand. We created like a wood look to the bottom, added buttons, she added barnacles and different textures. Don't forget to do that, because when we get to the painting part, it's gonna be, you know, really nice, a nice addition. So anyway, we are ready to bake. We're gonna put them in the oven for about a half hour, and we'll see you then. Hi, we're back, and we have now baked our wands in the oven. I don't know if you can see any of these little beads and things I put on, and there's my jewel at the end. Here's Isabella's. Not the greatest picture. I know the reason that we're working in black, you guys, is so that we don't have to go and paint this black. Now we can just start working on the actual color that we want it to be. So we're just going to go ahead and start painting. Alright, so we have finished our painting of our wands, And this is what it looks like now. So, yeah. So I've got more of that metallic paint, like I said, and then Isabella did more bright kind of sea colors. So we're gonna let these dry, and then we're going to use this gloss glaze. So when we're done doing that, then we will show you our projects.
Wands at the ready. Ridiculous!